guys, Tom here, and I'm out here hiking the trails near my hometown. It's kind of a neat little trail, but the good people over at DPower sent me a remote canister stove to do a review on. I've had it for a couple of weeks. I'm pretty impressed with it. So, oh look, there's a deer. Just jumped them out of their beds. Whoa. It's not very far away. Love being out here in the morning. But anyway, where was I? Oh yeah. It's a remote canister stove from DPower. I was pretty impressed with it. I've had it for a couple of weeks, and it's worked pretty well. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep hiking the trail here, and maybe spook up some more deer. And you guys can go ahead and watch the review, and stay tuned to the end. Maybe a little giveaway coming up too. We'll see you guys in a little bit. Well, welcome back. It's time to check out this portable camping stove from DPower. Let's rip it open and see what we got here. Okay, we've got the DPower stove. It's made of stainless steel, aluminum, copper, and it has a rubber bushing. This is a remote canister stove, and I hope you guys will stay with me because we're going to be going over some of the pros and the cons of this little stove. Alright, first of all, let's get a weight. I've got the scale set to grams. It's 145 grams. And the stuff sack is 9 grams. Alright, this remote canister stove has some folding legs, and they're pretty tight. Seems like really good construction. Fold out on the bottom for a really wide stance and stable stove. Alright, and the stove comes with a piezo igniter, and it hasn't failed yet. It's supposed to be good for up to 1,000,000 times. It has a nice rubber gasket. It seals up nicely around the canister. One of the great things about these types of stoves is you can have a windshield to help make the stove run more efficient. These legs are pretty wide, so they'll support lots of different types of pots. Here we are, the Snopeak 450. GSI Minimalist, and it's pretty stable. 10-ounce Imusa. Snopeak 900. The GSI Soloist. It's really stable. I really like that. Alright, so one of the best things about a remote canister stove is that you can use a windscreen with it. So you can make use of absolutely all of the heat. In this fashion, it works great. I've got 2 cups of water in this Snopeak 900, so we're going to go ahead and fire it off in these controlled conditions and see what kind of a boil time we get with this thing real quick. Alright, I'll go ahead and fire this up. Just turn it on. And there we go. It really is really easy. That Piezeo starter has been great. We're going to go ahead and turn it all the way up. Start the clock. Look at the flame pattern in there. It's wrapping all the way around the pot, so I could probably turn that down just a little bit. But really good flame pattern. Looks like we got a boil. It's not rolling yet. Just started to pass the 2-minute mark. That's pretty fast. Of course, it'd be a little bit faster if I peeked the lid on it, but that's alright. This is just kind of a ballpark estimate of what you guys can expect when you go out and get your own DPower stove. This thing's a rager. And that's all the way open too. Oh yeah. Nice. Exchanged the Snow Peak for this GSI pan, and I'm just going to show you one example of what I found was really great about this stove. Now, a remote canister stove could be good for, you know, any situation where you're car camping, backpacking, or if the power goes out in your house. I mean, you've always got a stove. And one of the biggest problems I found with some of the other stoves was their inability to simmer. Now, with this stove, it simmers very, very well. So you know, if you're cooking pancakes or eggs or something to that effect, you can simmer the stove really, really well. I'm going to go ahead and show you that. We've got a rolling boil here. And just barely. Right, and if some of you follow my channel, you know I did a recipe a while ago that required a little bit of simmering. And if you were cooking with something like this stove, it would have worked very, very well. And I can turn that down even more. So there's a shot with the simmer. It doesn't take much. Just turn this down just a little bit. And there you go. So if you're not just boiling water and you need to simmer something for a little while, this is a perfect stove for that. Now I'll cut to a couple of clips of me cooking breakfast with this stove, and it turned out dynamite. Nothing burnt, nothing scorched, just perfect. Really impressed with this little stove. At the price point of this stove, you could buy a couple of these and have a 2-burner setup for your car camping needs, or like I said, if your power goes out in your house and you need to cook dinner for your family, you could get 2 of these going for the price of one of the MSRs or the other stoves. Alright, so let's move on to one of the cons I don't like about this stove. Alright, so as you can tell, this is a great 3-season stove. You could probably get away with using it in the winter, but not having the generator tube to actually atomize the fuel when it comes in liquid form is probably not going to work all that well. I don't know that firsthand because I haven't used this in the winter, but if you invert the can, or not invert, but at least flip the can over, you can see what it's doing here. It'll start spitting and sputtering, but it did intensify the flame. You'd have to just experiment for yourself on whether or not you want to use this in a 4-season setting. But other than that, I'm really impressed with this little stove. Alright, well there's the DPower stove. And I've been messing with this one for a couple of weeks. I've been really impressed with it. It hasn't fell apart or anything like that. And right now, if you go to Amazon, they have these things for sale for $19.99. You know, and at that price point, what you get is a lot of stove. Alright, so in my opinion, this is a solid, great little stove. You know, it does exactly what it was intended for, and it simmers really good. It's probably the best simmering stove that I have, even better than the Whisper Light that I have. So I'm really impressed with that. And like I said, if you go to Amazon, you bought 2 of these for a 2-burner setup for car camping or canoeing or whatever, you'd still be under the price that it would cost you for an MSR or an Optimus product. Alright, so I hope you guys like this review, and stay tuned for another giveaway that's going to be here shortly, and you might be able to get your own DPower stove. Thanks for joining me, everybody, and until the next one, you guys take care out there, and I'll see you on down the trail.